Our sun moves into Leo. Mercury goes direct this week. My friend, stay tuned to learn all about what these transits are about, how you can work with them, and even more in this week's Sidereal Astrology Forecast. Welcome back, my friend, to the Cosmic Mystic, where we blend strategy and soul work to help healers, coaches, conscious leaders build soul aligned lives and businesses that support their soul's mission, their soul's purpose. My friend, if we have not met, I am Danny Simonis, creator of the Inner Alchemy Method, ruler, owner, creator of this channel. And I am here to help you embody your leadership. I love to help high achieving, introverted spiritual women reclaim their power, embody their truth, and lead from within. My friend, I have been doing this work for over 12 years, have been in leadership for over 20. Man, that deep soul work is the key to everything. So here on the channel, we've got tons of things that I love to share that I hope you enjoy. But these videos here, especially the sidereal astrology videos, are here to help you navigate what is happening in the outside world, how that might be affecting your inner world, how your inner world is maybe going to be reflected in the outer world so that you can boldly step into your purpose as you navigate more deep self-awareness. So, my friend, this is your invitation to trust your path, trust yourself, lead with authenticity. So let's dive in. If you are watching this on YouTube, hey, you will get to see the transit charts that I'm going to show just in just a second. And for those of you that are curious, I do use Luna for these videos in particular. Sometimes I use other software when I'm diving deeper into things, but for these videos, I love to use Luna because they're colorful and they're pretty. So you can check out Luna at luna.com. If you are like, wait, there's a YouTube channel and you're listening on the podcast, yes, there is also a podcast version of this episode that you can listen to. Take me in your earbuds on your walk, on your drive, or maybe while you're working or doing laundry. I hear that a lot. Doing the laundry, picking up around the house. If you just want to hear this, then you can definitely listen to it on the podcast. Same name, Cosmic Mystic Podcast. All the links to all the things in all the places, the show notes and the description, hopefully, if Danny remembered. Okay, if not, send me a DM, my friend. Send me a DM on Instagram or comment like, Danny, what's the link? And I'll send it over to you. All right, so we are kicking off with our State of the Planets, which is my favorite thing to do as we kick off these videos. And that is to tell you where everybody's hanging out as we begin this week. Because, my friend, these guys are they're hanging out. So I want you to know, because we're not going to talk about all of them. So I want you to know where they are hanging out. Okay, first off, we are going to talk about our sun here. So we've got our sun in Cancer, 25 degrees. This is the very end of our Cancer season. As I mentioned at the top of this video, we will be moving into Leo season very, very soon. By the end of this week, in fact. Mercury here, as we kick off, you can see it is out of retrograde. Yes, Mercury goes direct this week, actually here on the 11th. So we'll talk about that. We also have got Jupiter and Venus right here in Gemini. We talked about this last week. So if you missed last week's, where I kind of dove a little bit more into that Jupiter and Venus connection, and I believe I also covered it in our August overview. My friend, if you have not subscribed to the channel, subscribe, because we got these weekly videos that you're watching right here that just talk about this week's transits. And we've also got the overview of the month that talks about kind of the bigger overview of what's happening, like our new moon, our full moon, any of the sign, like zodiac sign changes that is happening with our sun or any other planet. So we talk about those or any of these major, you know, transits that we have right here, like this one. This aspect is a conjunction with Jupiter and Venus, which is all the beautiful, lovely things that Jupiter is expanding for us right now. We've also got Uranus here at Taurus. Chiron is retrograde in Aries. Down here, we've got Neptune and Saturn conjunct in Pisces. Both are still retrograde till the end of the year, into the new year. We've also got our moon kicking off this week right there, going to come up against that Saturn-Neptune conjunction later on today on the 11th. We kick off the moon in Aquarius, coming off of that full moon we had this past week. We've got our North Node here in Aquarius. We've got Pluto over here in Capricorn, still retrograde. Mars over here in Virgo. And we've also got our South Node in Leo. All right, so let's dive in to what is happening with our sun this week. So we don't have any new aspects this week. But what we do have is our sun. As you can see, she's going to move on forward. We do have that Chiron coming in, which is just going to be for a bit, and it is going to shift a couple of things. You know, Chiron always brings up those wounds, but it allows us to move through those wounds by helping us be more empowered with them, especially in this particular situation. So there might be some, this particular aspect, I should say. So when we see this, I just want you to think about, are there things that are coming up? Or if you see something coming up that's like an old pattern or an old wound, might be coming up for some deeper healing, or for you to shift the energy around it to something that is more empowering. And you might be able to shift that focus both energetically and consciously, especially as we're still kind of coming out of that Lionsgate portal. All right, we've got our Saturn, our sun, who is square here to Uranus just as it moves into Leo. And this is on the 17th, my friend. These both take place on the 17th, where this square here to Uranus kicks in and the Leo energy. So let's first talk about the square, and then we're going to dive into what does the sun in Leo mean? How can we work with that particular sun transit? So first off, the sun square Uranus is where we are wanting to shift into some more open mindedness. The reason why I say that is anytime we're talking about Uranus, if you've been following me for a long time, what does Uranus do? It loves to shift things up, to change the energy, to mix things, right? And so there could be some feelings of anxiousness that there is, or uneasiness, because there is this change. Like, you know how you can feel it's like change is on the horizon, like something's about to happen, something's about to shift, right? That's kind of what that feeling happens with Uranus. It's like, oh, I feel like something's coming up. There could also be some tension that starts to rise, where you're like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm feeling like irritable, or I'm feeling like something, right? This is where we can actually do things that probably aren't the best, going back into maybe some old habits, old patterns. And so we just want to be mindful first that there might be some uneasiness and some anxiousness. And if you start to feel that, I want you to think, okay, Danny said I might be feeling this way. Okay, we're just going to move through this. We're not going to let it take over us. We're not going to go down the anxious alley. We understand. We're conscious that this is what might be happening. The other thing is there could be some shifts in things that cause you to feel some uneasiness or uncertainty. And so I also want to consider that, because sometimes that does come into play, where things are happening and you're like, why? Why is this happening? Why are things not working out? Why is this still the same for me? Like, why does it seem sometimes? And there's a lot of reasons why, but this is kind of one of the transits that kind of brings these things into fruition for us. And so it might feel like, Why isn't anything going? And it might just be, my friend, it might just be, and I know sometimes this is hard to hear, but it might just be for your greatest and highest good, because the thing that you are currently doing, um, it's that word insanity, right? You keep doing the same thing and getting the same result and expecting something different. This is where it's like, okay, there's something different that needs to happen. So if I am wanting this particular thing, if I'm wanting to manifest new clients, if I am wanting to grow my visibility in some way, shape, or form, or attract new leads, or create this new program, or whatever it is that you might be doing in your business right now, I want you to think about, if you, whatever it is that you're doing, it might not be the right thing, right? It might need to shift. You might need to shift your strategy or shift something, because if we keep doing the same thing, we're going to get the same result. So there could be some of that. And that's what Uranus is here to kind of do, like create a little bit of that tension so that we do something different. Because sometimes we just need to like get pushed off so that we can actually make a change. And Uranus is definitely here to kind of do that. So I would ask you, my friend, if things are coming up and it's like, oh, things are feeling old and stale and like I'm tired of doing this and nothing's working out, I'm going to ask you to be proactive about this, to say, okay, I'm feeling restless, I'm feeling a little anxious, I can feel there is some chaos here. What can I do differently? What can I do differently? My friend, if you are into AI, there are amazing already pre-built chat GPTs that you can use to help you kind of give you some new ideas. Go to your good friend Chatty and ask, right? Whether it's Grok or Claude or ChatGPT or Gemini, whoever you like to use, and ask like, hey, I've been doing this. This is the strategy I have. This is what I'm doing. What am I not seeing? Can you show me another way? Or can you give me some new ideas? Here's what I've come up so far. What do you think about those? It's something that I do a lot, is I will say, here's what I've come up with. Here's what I think, and give me some ideas on based on what I've said so far. And then I'll ask, like, can you compare these two and tell me based on this and based on this, which one would be better for me to move forward with? And my friend, it helps really clear some things out and I love it. Okay. So next, let's talk about that sun in Leo. So Leo season runs from August 17th through September 16th. So if you're like, wait a minute, Danny, I thought we were already in Leo season. So if you are thinking we are already in Leo season, first off, remember we do sidereal astrology here, which is slightly different than our tropical friends who are looking at our zodiac signs based on the seasons and based on very fixed dates. So Aries always starts when spring season hits. In sidereal astrology, that is not how we look at the sky. We actually look at it as what is happening right now. Where is the sun? What constellation is the sun moving through right now? And when we do that, when we take, you can use your phone apps, you can take it and look in the sky and say, where's the sun at right now? And you'll see that as of the 17th, the sun will be moving through Leo. It'll be at the very beginning of Leo. So when the sun moves into that zodiac sign, the ideas and the themes and the energy, the frequency of that constellation, of that zodiac sign is what gets amplified here. You can say it in that way where we start to that focus, because the sun is the consciousness. It's what is top of mind. And so the things that Leo rules over, we might find that we tend to start focusing on. It's another way that I like to use the zodiac seasons to say, okay, first off, in my personal growth and development, what are the themes of this zodiac sign? How can I use this season to grow in whatever those areas of my life are? Okay. The second thing I can do is in my business and say, okay, what are those themes? How does this relate to my business? And what are the things that I can focus on in my business during this season? So we're talking about Leo. So let's talk about Leo and then be sure to check out the podcast episode that comes out later this week on Leo season and how to then use those Leo ideas and those themes in your personal growth and development, in that greater self-awareness to look for those shadows and in your business, what things you can do and work on in your business during Leo season. Okay, so Leo is ruled by the sun. And a lot of times Leo gets a bad rap because Leos, people say they're dramatic, they're self-centered. It's all about them. They have to be like it has to be all about them. And this is what I want you to consider. Leo is ruled by the sun. The sun is what? The center of the universe. Can you start to see why maybe Leos kind of have that idea? They are the center of the universe. They are the center of our solar system. Okay. Now, in other circles, you might hear some other things, but right now we're just going to keep it simple with the sun being the center. If the sun is the center and the sun rules over the Leo season, you can start to see why maybe Leos think they are the center of attention. The sun shines bright. The sun is able to help us, right? Like Earth, human beings, be able to live on this planet because of its distance from the sun. We're able to grow things. We're able, our climate, right, it is inhabitable for humans based on our distance. It gives us life. Right? It's also the element of fire. And if you're a Survivor fan like me, I'm watching all of the Survivor seasons. We are finally on season 31. Man, I didn't realize there was like 50 seasons of Survivor when we started this, but my friend, we are on season 31 and fire is life on on Survivor. So fire is a big element. We're going to talk about fire definitely in our Rise and Align series and just kind of some of those ideas throughout this month. So look out for those. All right. The other thing that we kind of look at here is our self-expression, our confidence, our creative like energy. And this is really where we step into more of our authentic power. Now, I want you to know that there are three things that Leo wants: to be seen, to be heard, to be understood. Seen, heard, understood. If you have a Leo in your life, or if you are a Leo, they want to be seen, heard, understood. When they are not seen, heard, understood, they have a problem. Now, with that being said, is there some things that Leos can work on to help understand that on a deeper level? Absolutely, my friend. From us, from people who have to work with Leos, I have a lot of Leo clients and I love my Leo clients. It just intrigues me how their brains work. I love it. One of the things that they are here to learn though is how to be a leader, right? And I often use the idea of, we're going to call it The Wiz, not The Wizard of Oz, because I grew up on The Wiz with Michael Jackson and Diana Ross, not The Wizard of Oz. So for those of you who haven't seen it, go check it out. But it's this idea of the lion who learns that he has always been brave and always been courageous and always been the leader, right? He's always been heart-centered. He just didn't know it. He had to get back in touch with that part of himself. And if you look at this on a deeper level, Dorothy had to get in touch with part of herself that was a leader, that was brave, that was courageous. So when we're moving through Leo season, I want you to think of those ideas. How are you showing up in your authentic power, right? We've talked a lot in our Rise and Align series about reclaiming that power, bringing that power back, the ways that our power might have been leaking. And so we're reclaiming all of that power back. Now, how do we express that? How do we stand in it? How do we be in it moving forward after we've reclaimed it? How are we more confident? How can we stand out more confident or be more confident in our ideas, in our belief systems, in the way in which we move and navigate through the world and in our business? The other thing I want to mention here really quickly is this idea of inner child. The Leo energy is very playful. It's very fun. It's very dynamic. And oftentimes we will see that inner child energy. Now, we're talking about that playful, youthful inner child, and also the inner child that may be in fear, that may be scared, that may want to hide in the shadows. And so this season is such a good time to work with your inner child for not only bringing in, and we're going to talk about this in the podcast, so I don't want to give too much away, but bringing in that playfulness and also healing that energy so that we can have that beautiful, playful energy in our lives. All right, let's dive into our next thing because I could go on and on and on and on and on, and I'll save that for the podcast. Okay, I'm going to share my screen again. And coming back, let's talk about the moon really quick. So we did see that as we kicked off this week that we started in Aquarius. So I just want to just show you really quick where this is going to be moving through. If you're finding that things are feeling a little burdened or you feel a lot of responsibility here as we kick off this week, that is because we've got this right here. That's that moon energy connected to Saturn. Now, because we've got that Neptune in there, I'm going to recommend that you really pay attention to your dreams Sunday night, Monday night. I hope you are keeping a dream journal because dreams have such important messages for us and how to navigate decisions that we need to make. I highly recommend the book Dreams 1, 2, 3 for a dream reference book. All right. Next, moon moves into Pisces here on Tuesday, and it's going to be right up against, you'll see that Neptune energy. Now, Neptune and the moon, again, we're going to still pay attention to our dreams because Neptune is that connection to spirit. It is that what's beyond, right? The things beyond the veil, the mysteries, the occult. It rules over a lot of that energy, just like Pluto does. And so we definitely want to take that into consideration that we might have some really interesting dreams or intuitive hits, right? You might getting these downloads or receiving these messages. This might be, or even a good time to work with your guides, right? Work with your spirit team, work with, God, the universe, divine, like really asking them to show you the signs, synchronicities. I say that all the time in our breath works is when we're in that grounding is show us the signs, the synchronicities, the ideas, the thoughts, the people, the places that are meant for us for our greatest and highest good. All right, and then we move into, so we'll be in Pisces through Tuesday, Wednesday, and then on Thursday, we're going to move into Aries. You'll see it hit right up against that Chiron. And so there could be some things as we kick off Thursday morning that might be really bringing us some of those sensitive wounds that might still be a little fragile or a little like they haven't quite healed. So some of that could be getting poked at, maybe just a bit. So I just want you to be aware of that. And people might just trigger us, let's just say. People, especially as it relates to maybe a potential past wound, there could be some triggering there. That's just going to say. And then we'll see that through Friday. And then when we get to Saturday, we're going to see it come up against this Uranus energy. So very, very fun change. You might want to do something different. Might want to like shift the energy in your house, which would be really, really good because they are both in Taurus. Taurus does rule over as well as Cancer, but it's that more comfortable aesthetics, like how I'm feeling in my space, how luxurious, comfortable does this feel? And then Sunday will still be in that energy of Taurus, which is a very grounded energy and just kind of like, let's just get things done. Let's just move things through. But like, with the matcha or the iced tea or the mocktail, maybe. So just so you know. All right, let's move on to our next nothing major happening there with the moon because we did just come off that full moon and we won't have our new moon until the 23rd of August. All right, let's talk about this Mercury. So Mercury goes direct, as I mentioned, on the 11th, the very beginning of this week here. as we kick off. Now, although Mercury is direct, meaning it is out of its retrograde period. So, Mercury in the microwave idea, all of that. I see all the memes. I think they're just hilarious. All of that stuff is coming to an end, so to speak. Now, I want you to consider this, and I've talked about this a lot, and I think there's a video I'll have to look and see, but that I did where I talked all about Mercury post shadow. So there's a pre shadow period and a post shadow period, and those are in reference to retrograde. When Mercury gets into the pre shadow, we start to see things start to happen, and it's an opportunity for us to tune in and be like, okay, something right here, there's something that I'm going to need to explore, or something that is asking to be explored during the retrograde period. Now we hit the retrograde period and we start revisiting, redoing, rethinking, reviewing things, right? And we make some new decisions about what's happening. It's not just that there's communication glitches. It's not just that schedules aren't working, that things are delayed. It's there's something here for our awareness. One of the things that I learned, for example, in a past Mercury retrograde was I was having a whole lot of problems with technology. In fact, my mouse right here is not working. These past few days, it has not been working for me. But what happened in this particular Mercury retrograde was my mouse wasn't working, my camera wasn't working, my mic wasn't working, my screens were not connecting properly. And every single day I was having problems, so much so that my computer would just reboot. And I was like, what the heck is happening, right? It wasn't a virus. What is happening? I cleared my space energetically. It was like, I don't know what else it could be. And when I sat down and I opened the Akashic records and was like, guys, guardians, tell me, like, what am I not seeing? And that message was loud and clear. Slow down and pause. The things were glitching. The things were causing me to have to stop and wait for it to reboot. It was having me to stop, and because I thought it was my batteries, that I would stop and go charge my batteries. I had to pause. My screens, they wouldn't function properly. And I was like, you know what? I would get frustrated and be like, forget this. And I'd walk away. Every single time it was a pause. And I was being asked to pause because there was important messages that wanted to come through that I was not wanting to hear. So, my friend, the shadow period now starts. And the shadow period is going to go through the 25th of August. And the post shadow period, just like the pre shadow period, we're not in the clear. And I want to put that in quotations. We're not in the clear, so to speak. There could still be some things coming up. Why might that be? If I've made a decision now that I'm going to pause, but then I'm like, okay, it's out of retrograde, I'm good. And in that version, right, where I was having these technological complications, there you go. If I was like, okay, I'm good, we're out, I'm clear, and I didn't continue to pause, things are still going to happen. I'm still going to have problems with my mic or my mouse or my camera. I'm still going to have these problems because I'm still being asked to pause. I haven't learned my lesson yet. Or the thing that I've decided to do is not necessarily the full scope or maybe the steps that I should be taking, right? It might just have been like, okay, fine, I'll just meditate an extra 5 minutes, right? No, there was something else in there. In that post period, there could still be things coming up. And I want you to keep a note of that because that can happen. And sometimes people are like, but I thought it was over. And it's like, yes, and okay. All right. The final thing is that is it, my friend. That is all that I have for you in this week's Sidereal Astrology Forecast. I hope that this was helpful, insightful. I'd love to hear what you are taking away from this particular video, and also to remind you that the August Lunar Journal, this is the monthly journal I've been putting out for a couple months now. I've like changed things, and so now we have a monthly lunar journal. And in that lunar journal, we've got weekly journal prompts in there. We've got an overview of this month's transits. We've also got that full moon and new moon, along with journal prompts to help you set an intention, also to release, giving you more insight for yourself. This is for you really to have a guide for deeper self awareness through this month. It is to help guide you through the energies and to understand maybe some opportunities for you, maybe some shadows for you, and maybe some strengths that maybe you didn't even know you had. All right, my friend, you can download that. The link is down below, or you can go to thepeaceteacher.com/, lunar journal, and you can get it right there. All right, until next time, my friend, we are done. Remember to keep shining your unique light.